Alright, Scavenjer's Founders Log number 2. In this video I wanted to go over the website and show what I've built and walk over some of the elements that make up the website and that will allow people to interact heavily with the platform. Alright, let's make this quick and fun. This is an old intro video, you can check this out on the site if you'd like, but we're going to move on. For connecting the world, I just want this to be a community first platform where we're getting everybody from around the world to interact with different events and entertainment media from Scavenjer. For real world AR gameplay, we're going to be able to provide this through our partner platform called the Marbleverse. Now the Marbleverse is an augmented reality platform that we'll dive into later, but for now I'll show you some quick gameplay and then we can move on. So for Scavenjer Studios, this is going to be a creative studio that creates media content pertaining to music, short films, trailers, animes, comics, manga, maybe even more. And we're going to be leveraging AI, but more importantly, we're going to be utilizing human creativity to do so. AI is just a tool. Cross-platform gaming. So cross-platform gaming is pretty straightforward. I want to be able to create assets that you find out in the real world while you're hunting or competing that can be utilized on different platforms, whether it's PC, PS4, Xbox, mobile, doesn't matter. I want there to be a cohesive ecosystem for the digital assets you collect. And I'm very excited for this. Echoes are our digital collectibles that are representations of the Scavenjer universes or the Scavenjer multiverse. Right now, we do have the Echo collection out first that I created with an artist. You can buy this and it will give you access to game areas in the Marbleverse in which you'll be able to collect digital assets or other things that we're going to be dropping. As of right now, we are in an alpha phase where we're still testing, but show support by purchasing an Echo if you'd like. Now for business assets, this is pretty straightforward, but I simply want to partner with businesses or brands and offer products or services from that brand as digital asset rewards in the Marbleverse, in the real world, when you go out to collect them. So if you were to collect a digital asset in the Marbleverse that pertained to a business, maybe you would get a discount for the business of 10%, 50%, or maybe you get their product or service completely for free. That's going to depend on the partnership, but this is something I'm extremely excited for. Now for the Axiom token, this is going to be very important in my goals in having a currency that powers the Scavenjer ecosystem. I do not want this token to be meme or a pump and dump scheme. I want to be able to utilize a token that powers our ecosystem for the gaming, for media, for everything that we do, and for it to be able to be utilized in every aspect. As of right now, you can support Scavenjer by signing up for the waitlist for the sale of the token, but it is something that is more for funding strategies as of right now, and we will definitely dive into how this can be utilized as part of Scavenjer's ecosystem in the future. For Scavenjer music, the music that we create will power Scavenjer storytelling and our media content. Scavenjer music is going to be very cool. It's going to be powered by different elements of real human creativity, but also leveraging new AI techniques. And I will go over more of this in the future, but just know that Scavenjer music is going to be utilized everywhere in the Scavenjer ecosystem. Now, host is a creative concept for Scavenjer influencers to leverage their following to produce events and content that pertain to assets that are rewarded to Scavengers out on the Marbleverse or in the real world. Now for the rest of this page, feel free to check this out on the scavenjer.com website. We'll continue moving on for time's sake. For universes, this is going to be Scavenjer's creative way of doing storytelling and then being able to produce assets that pertain to that storytelling. Feel free to go over this page in depth, but for now, just know that we are in a storytelling aspect of Scavenjer versus Scavenjer. Now for the Axiom token pages, I recommend you go and check these out yourself on the Scavenjer website. We won't go into them as I talked about it briefly on the homepage, but this is where you can sign up for the token pre-sale when we do have this after we've built our community. Next, we're going to go over my favorite part of the site that I built so far. This is the area that I'm most proud of, and that's going to be the Neo Market. Now here, you just have an intro collection to our Echoes where you can buy them if you would like to support Scavenjer as of right now, but we're going to move on. Here we have the home page, and you can see there's very limited content as Scavenjer has just started. For the collections page, This will be where I highlight collections Now for the collections page, this is where you'll see collections created by not only me, but future artists that I plan to work with. Different collections will have different utility sets and will have different forms of rarity that we'll dive into in the future. On the exchange, this is where players can buy, sell, and trade their echoes when they've collected them. You'll also see that here there's an exchange echo where digital assets that players go out and collect in the Marbleverse can be traded and burned in order to claim certain rewards that are listed here. Right now we have an example reward of 5 USDT, which is a crypto token that can be claimed by me as I have an echo, as you can see. I would just click and burn, and I would receive the 5 USDT in my wallet. This feature is still currently in testing, and I hope to launch it soon. Now for auctions, this is where you'll be able to bid on echoes as their value increases. As of right now, echoes have no value really because Scavenjer has just started, but as Scavenjer grows, I'm sure we're going to have echoes with different utility sets that are going to have much more value in the future. Moving on to the Nexus, this is my favorite part of the Neo market. This is where you'll be able to vote on creative decisions made by Scavenjer. The creative decisions pertain to music, gaming, city voting for when we hold our events, creative decisions for media, and much more. Now for the Dark Circuit, this is going to be where if you own a collectible that Scavenjer is seeking, you'll actually be able to turn it in for a specific reward. This will be a little different than the exchange page trade-in because for here, we're looking for a very specific echo and a very specific holder, and they're going to be able to receive a reward that is much more unique. As you can see, I already own an echo that is being sought after. So if I wanted to, I would put in my information and then I would select my reward type, which is going to pertain to crypto, more collectibles, physical merchandise, hopefully from brand partnerships, digital experiences, maybe in the Marbleverse or other platforms, or maybe even a surprise reward. On the My Echoes page, each time you log into the website, you'll see here that the echoes you have will be synced. You can refresh the page if you end up purchasing an echo and you do not see it here. On the activity page, this is what you'll see when scavengers are buying, selling, and trading their digital assets. The settings page is pretty straightforward. In the future, I plan to include custom profiles, leaderboard syncing, and even a theme designer. Those are the main functions of Scavenjer's website as of right now. Feel free to explore more on scavenjer.com. You'll see other little features such as leaderboards, which are still in development, but if you want to check out Scavenjer's white paper to get an idea of where we want to go, you can see that here.